Right, well, we have a bit of fencing here to do today. This is the area that I tidied up in a previous episode with the excavator. There was a bunch of stumps along here that I pulled out, and as you can see, the grass is growing in really nicely on those areas right now. We're going to connect this fence back up. We've got a post has to go here. There's a couple of posts down there that need to go in as well. But before we get to that point, I'm actually just going to grab the whipper snipper and just tidy up these spots here and along those posts in the middle, just so it's easier for me to connect wires and work around those posts. A bit tidier. That'll help us when we're trying to put these fences together. I actually think I'm going to go down here and maybe cut off the side of these flax, because that wire is, and I mean it will be an electric wire, and it's just going to be buried in those flax leaves there. So I think I'll just go along and cut the ends of those off just to tidy them up a bit too. Well, that's looking tidier. We'll be able to get some wires down there now, and they won't be affected by the flax. I'm just going to duck around here with my little ratchet tool for doing up fences, and I'm going to undo the tensioners just to give me back a little bit of wire before I start putting those wires together. So this is all those tensioners here. They're all pretty much here, I think, but I'm going to start undoing them. You'll see there's just a bunch of wire coiled up on all of them, so I'm hoping just to give myself a bit more wire so that I can tension them up on the other side and do a knot and get it all back together. As predicted, I've managed to get a lot of wire out of these tensioners. There was lots wrapped up on these, so hopefully that will give me everything I need to be able to put the wires back together on the other side. And the last thing I need to do just before I start putting these wires back together is all these staples and insulators on these posts, you'll see, are on this side. And what I'm going to do when I put this back together is put them on this side, so they're on the paddock side of the post. I'd say that this fence was here, over here. This is our effluent paddock on the other side of these flax, and I'd say that this fence was here before the effluent paddock existed, and that's why they set up the wires and everything on that side, because it doesn't make sense. You always have wires on the paddock side of a post where you can. So I'm just going to, you see up here on these 3 posts to the end, I actually had to replace this section after that windstorm 4 years ago, and I actually put all insulators and the wires on this side. So I'm just going to duck down these posts, take out the staples and insulators, and then we are good to start putting wires together. And I almost forgot, I've got 3 posts to put in still. So I'm not close to putting wires back together yet. I've got 3 posts to go. So let's crack on and get some of those in the ground. Well, I'm digging away at this first hole thinking to myself, my luck to hit an old stump or rock or something exactly where I'm digging this hole. And then it occurred to me, the post that was here broke off. And that is the end of the post. So I did my measurements right. We know that the post is going in the right spot. Voila, there it is. All right. Well, I just had a spot of lunch. I gotta say, I feel a whole lot better. I couldn't sit still. I had to get out here. I just wanted to start digging holes and putting more posts in the ground. Hey, we've got 1 in the ground already. That's done. It's solid. It's actually sitting a little bit higher. I might need to just take the top off that. And yes, you're probably looking at my miserable tape measure on the ground. It's stuffed. What I found is the moment you start using those when it's semi-wet outside, i.e. in the rain, they hate life and pack it in. So I'm gonna have to get another one. It's the second one I've gone through in about 3 months. The joys of it all, huh? Anyway, let's get the stuff together. We'll get down, put these next 2 in. It's piping hot at the moment, eh? It's got to be about 30 degrees, which is just outstanding. Not so much for physical labor, but hey, let's stop talking and let's do more of the doing and the things. Let's go. Well, I've run out of posts, so I'm gonna need to go to my local hardware store and get some more. And here we are, my local hardware store. I call this place Bunnings. Need exterior timber, interior timber, fence post stays, gates, steel, posts, fencing wire, irrigation, plumbing line, you name it, I've got it. This is my own personal Bunnings, and I'm going to need a couple of those. All right, let's go. Should be close now though. The posts are in, so now we can start putting wires on. Those two weren't too bad. There wasn't any rocks or too many roots. Of course, this is where those two stumps were, so I knew there wouldn't be too much in here. But they're in. We've got a fence line full of posts. Now comes the fun, because in my haste, I took these wires off and really crappily rolled them up on the ground, and that's going to be painful for me right now because they're all buried in this grass, and because these wires are on this side as well, I've got to put them on this side and then stretch. Yeah, anyway, you'll get the drift. You'll see what's going on very shortly. So I finally got, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires all strung out of the grass, which is so much fun. Every time I do fencing, I tell myself not to do that, and I do it. But it definitely does add an element of surprise to it. Right, so the bottom wire is there, pinned in the ground, about halfway. So now we'll go grab all of these wires and get them out so I can get the bottom one, and then we can start tying them up. All right, well, I've got my 2 wires right here that I've got to connect, and I've got my tensioning tool here, my strainer. It's been a couple of years since I've used this, so let's see if I can remember how to use it. Okay, now hopefully I've got enough wire here to do what I need to do. I think I do. Let's do that. There we go. All right, well, we got the knot after I remembered how the heck to do it. It's been a little while. Anyway, let's cruise up here to the tensioner on the wire, and we'll get that tight, and then we'll come back and finish that knot. To there. That's nice and tight. Cut off the excess, because I don't know how to do that fancy thing where you break it without using cutters. And there you go. That's a pretty sweet knot, I reckon. All right, and now we just do that another 6 times. Oh, sorry folks, we've had a little bit of an issue there, technical glitch. back to normal proceedings now. Right, well it's the next morning and I didn't quite get the fence sorted yesterday afternoon. I have 2 more wires to connect and then it's just a matter of going along the posts and stapling the posts and putting some insulators on. So we're getting pretty close. And I've just got my guide stick here, so I've just run along another fence line just to figure out where the wires are on the post, and I've marked down the locations of it. Now I'll be able to use this as a reference, go along all of these posts and just mark out where the wires need to finish. Just a real quick way of doing it instead of using a tape measure on every single post. Well, as you can see, I've got this paddock looking really, really nice. I'm really thrilled with that fence. It's come out really good. But the last thing I'm going to do here is burn this bonfire. This one, and actually the one in the paddock from which has a lot of the branches and tree stuff from the windstorm. So I'm going to get these both lit today because of course if it gets a bit hotter they'll probably cancel the open fire permits that we've got. Weather looks good. It's going to rain a couple of days as well, so I'm just going to get this burnt and get this stuff all sorted. It's a pretty big bonfire and it's pretty dry, so it shouldn't take much to go up. You can see those stumps there are going to take a while to burn. Plus there's a lot of soil on them still, so I'm fully expecting there to be 4 stumps left over once majority of this all burns out. Okay, well that one's looking pretty good. So I'll head over and set the other one on fire now.